Hello everybody, welcome back again to the Helvetic Speedrunner Marathon Online, #1. And it's time for the last marathon of the run. No, of course it's the last run of the marathon this time.
Oh.
Yeah. The honor of closing out the HSO #1 will be our good boy Cadarev here with the Tomb Raider 2013 any %. So good luck, have fun.
Well, thank you for the good luck. We'll see about the fun part. But yeah, this is me. I'm the one you just didn't see do whatever they did. And with me I still have Eraser, luckily. Hello, Eraser.
Yeah. Hello again. Apparently I'm here for whatever.
Professionalism. Good. Yeah. So as Zona said, this is Tomb Raider 2013. So this was the second or third reboot, however you want to count it. This is the game before Rise of the Tomb Raider and Shadow of the Tomb Raider. And yeah, we will play on normal because this community makes a lot of sense, don't question it. Basically easy has auto-aim allegedly, so we can't play on easy. Anyway, so yeah, as soon as I select the difficulty, the game will start. So I will, yeah, just count you down, and then we have some cutscenes, so there's not much to talk about anyways. 3, 2, 1, go.
Let's go.
Yes, let's go watch cutscenes. Good.
Yes.
Don't worry, I know this is very quiet, it will not be that quiet. It's basically the reverse of the previous game. Here the FMVs are very, very quiet, and in the other one it's very, very loud. It makes sense. Anyways, so the story of this game is that we got shipwrecked because we were looking for some ancient Japanese whatever, and now we have to make our way off this island, and that looks rather not so easily doable right now because you can't tell right now, but we basically got captured. Luckily we have the very descriptive subtitles that tell you what is going on, such that the rope is creaking and that there are heavy noises and stuff, so that's good. Basically, Lara will be hung upside down here, next to this, whatever it is, cocoon. And that's pretty stupid, because that doesn't allow us to move, since we don't really have any freedom of movement. So we have to get down somehow. And yes, all of that was unskippable, and that's also true for the next minute or so. So whenever we reset, that's what we basically have to watch. So good speedrun. Anyway, so now we...
If only you could start from a save.
Sorry?
If only you could start from a save.
Yes, if only there was an official rule. Yeah, so we can at least swing now, and of course the first thing you should do if you get captured is set yourself on fire. That solves all of your problems one way or another. Hopefully this time it actually helps us. But yeah, this is basically our way to get out of this situation. And then we take a very gentle dive towards the ground, and it's this very not dangerous object. Oops. And now we, of course, the first thing you should do is then very, forcefully pull this out of your body. So what I'll do now is quit out to main menu and continue. And if I input if I do my jump inputs correctly, Lara should do this jump. Oh no, I got it, but I also got the graphics glitch, and I don't want everyone to lose their eyes, so I will just try again. Don't worry about it.
Don't worry. We don't mind about losing our eyes.
Well, and of course now I will not get the jump, because that makes sense. Good. Yeah, I will just try this a few times. Yeah, don't worry.
The idea is that if you jump, you get back your freedom of movement kind of before the game start, blocking you about playing the game normally.
Mm-hmm.
So thanks to that, you can go out of bounds. It's in a sense, you kind of dissociate Lara with the game script that is supposed, to keep you in bounds and everything. You do it just before the first check and all.
Yeah.
At least that's how I understood it, kind of.
I don't understand it, so I trust you. I mean, I don't understand what I do. I did understand what you said. That's not what I meant. Anyway, so we're out of bounds now. This is intro out of bounds, and it looks rather straightforward, but it's very precise, because if we fail, we go all the way back, and that's not good, because we would end up in bounds. And this is also not good. I hope I can save this somehow. But I will probably fall down. Oh, no, this is not looking good. Go up. Yeah, okay. Kind of saved it, good. We still have a chance to successfully finish this. So
Like,
the...
this is really, yeah, go ahead.
I'm trying to focus now.
Okay.
Because now
So, yeah, like,
the next jump is like the most important one.
yes, so this section is really, really precise. So, like, even where like Caddy normally like should attempt to do a jump that is kind of curved, and yeah, like all the jumps are really precise in this section. And if you fail even once, as Caddy said, like you go back inbound, and the time loss will be pretty huge. Like we are talking about minutes. So,
All right, and that's where you go back inbounds, and that's actually a very big relief for me because yeah, this is definitely the biggest reset point.
GG, honestly,
Oh,
that's
good.
really
Yeah.
cool.
So what we did there is we skipped a 1 minute puzzle room, so it's definitely worth it if you run glitched. And here we can do another small out of bounds. Not if you jump like that. Do I have air control? Okay, never mind. We will not do it. Okay, so what we could have done there is skip this small cutscene of this guy trying to help us. There are a lot of people in this game that want to help us.
Yes. I was actually amazed by that when we got through the run earlier.
Yeah, so that's the tutorial level basically. Now we just have to climb out of here, and then we actually finally get to know what game we're playing, because obviously you should not tell the player that at the start of the game. You should play that. You should tell them after the tutorial.
Wow, you are so mean with the game. It was obviously to make a big impression, you know, like a movie, like a cinematic effect, which totally is useless. Which is totally useless.
Yes, I mean this is a cutscene, so we should be able to skip it. Oh wait.
Right.
Yeah, so you can skip like 90% of cutscenes except for like this one and one at the very end in this run. But yeah, what else to say?
Yes. The guy that tried to help Lara has actually the same hairs that I had during our previous run. Just saying.
Okay, good hint, thank you.
No problem.
Yeah, so there will be more people trying to help us. Look forward to that. But for now, you can tell, like, obviously we just got captured, we don't have our weapons or anything, and our goal is to find the other crew members of our ship. Between, like, one of them is our very good friend, Sam, who might or might not play a big role in this. But as I said, we don't have any weapons. Also, don't worry about this, the camera just gets stuck there. It all makes sense. It's very good. Yeah, so we don't have any weapons right now, so the first thing... Nice one, Eraser.
Okay.
The first thing we have to do is find a weapon, because that will be helpful. So here, this is a tutorial of like this balancing beam thing, and the game kind of tells you to, like, you know, keep your balance, but you actually cannot fall off this tree. Like, there was actually speculation, and then we just tested it, or to be fair, Clove tested it, and you just cannot fall off this. So, insane hand-holding. Here we do a checkpoint reload just because it's faster than waiting out the animation of her steadying herself. And here there's a jump that can skip a get-up animation like that. What I did there was a scramble jump, so it's basically you have this scramble animation, I also did right there. If you jump out of that animation, you have a small moment where you actually can jump in midair, so you can slightly increase the range of your jumps. And yeah, in a case like this, it actually has a benefit.
Like it's pretty visual as well. Like I think everyone can understand that when they see. That's really really cool.
So yeah, again, cutscenes like this we can skip, so don't ask me why the other one we couldn't skip. And yeah, we're making our way out of the tutorial area. As I said, since we don't have any weapons, there is no real way to speed this up, but soon that will change.
Sam's pack.
So here we find Sam's pack, as Laura just said, so this seems to be hinting at a good trail we have right now. Also, if you drop down on the left on this slope, you die. It makes sense, don't worry about it. Again, checkpoint reset here, because otherwise she would like fall down and have to get up again and all that stuff. You can also tell she's hurt right now. She's holding her side. I wonder why, don't know. Maybe she should have accepted the help of the other guy.
Probably.
And now we're at the campfire. And now Laura realizes that she's hungry, so she needs to gather some food. And to gather some food, she needs a weapon.
Same.
And
I can't just sit here.
I meant that I'm hungry, not that I need a weapon.
yeah, it's okay. I just didn't. Yeah, I decided to not ask any questions. Seemed like the better option.
I am so sorry for existing. You can
Yeah,
continue.
there's a bow on this guy that we can tear off, and still usable apparently, so that's good. And with that, we will have to shoot the deer. We actually don't really need the meat. It's just it's part of progressing the story, and if we don't trigger this event, the next level wouldn't load. So I actually have to shoot him. Sorry. It's for the greater good. So we collect the meat, and now the next level is loaded. So the game actually wants you to go back to the campfire now to eat the meat. But since we have a weapon, we can not do that. We can actually skip ahead by going through this door. And now we're, inside this bunker. Basically, weapons are magic wands that allow you to do very interesting things.
What are these markings?
So that's why Caddy wanted to have a weapon as fast as possible, and there is also better thing you can do with weapon later in the game, especially when you have multiple weapons. So stay tuned.
But yeah, the basic gist of that is if you
This is insane.
continuously aim in your weapon mode, Lara sometimes clips into whatever's behind her. That's why the camera started shaking, and if you then press the scramble or the melee button and turn your camera, you can like clip through whatever you're clipped into, which is very helpful. We will do something similar in like half a minute. So we want to get, like if we would exit the bunker the way you're supposed to, we would trigger an event where Lara is trapped in a bear trap and she gets attacked by wolves and has to shoot them and blah blah blah. What we want to do is we want to end up at the top of the bunker, so at the rooftop. And we do that by clipping upwards here, hopefully. Like this, but now I still need to get the camera up here. Like if I go into aiming mode here, you can see I get, like it's still at the bottom. So I need to merge body and camera. Thank you. And I do that by jumping off that ledge. In that moment, camera snaps back to Lara. But obviously I still want to end up at the rooftop, so I have to jump back. And now we're out of bounds. Yeah.
And it will be useful later in the run as well.
Exactly. The only thing that you might notice right now is the camera is a bit uncomfortably close to Lara. That's because we also skipped the trigger that would fix this camera. As I said, you would first like go into the bear trap, do the event, and then you would meet Sam again at that campfire, together with the main antagonist. But since we didn't meet him, I guess story is solved and we can all go home happily. Also, this wolf just interrupted my animation. That's good. That's actually faster. Good thing I saved those 0.5 seconds.
Yes.
Anyways, you could
version 1, that's a lot.
you could see there the textures weren't loaded correctly because I skipped the trigger. But with the checkpoint reload here, I can also sit down on this campfire because I need to upgrade my climbing axe. Game wants you to open this gate by turning that wheel there, but we will not do that. Instead, we take the creative approach because we have a magic wand since we have a weapon. We can clip up to the roof and just jump around the gate. Now we go up this staircase, and at the top of the staircase we will meet more people that want to help us. And weirdly enough, they speak Russian. Because you need people that are evil, of course the go-to is Russian.
Yes. Clearly an American game. Oh, wait.
So normally this guy is like pretty blind, so you can just roll past him. Rolling actually counts as a loud action, so we cannot roll past the others. So that's why I'm sneaking most of the time, but once I know I'm like past the area that they would notice me, I can roll, which is obviously faster. And here I need to wait out this guy.
This section reminds me of Wings Club, by the way. Like, we have a section exactly like that in Wings Club.
Exactly like this.
Yes, exactly.
You get tied up and your weapons get taken away. Yes.
Close enough.
Yeah. By Russian guys. And...
Okay, maybe not Russian guy, but close to Russian.
But yeah, I've been told by many times that the Russian they use in this dub is actually not correct Russian. It's really, really bad Russian, which is curious because there is a Russian dub, like native Russian dub, So they didn't even use that. They just redubbed bad Russian to use in their English dub.
That doesn't make any sense.
But yeah, so clearly this guy wants to help us. But I think we're good, so I will just politely decline his help.
Which
And
is a good
he
thing.
really insists on helping us, so I will again politely, very politely decline his help. And take his present. So that's very nice. Oh, that's a weapon. That's good. For some reason he wants to have it back, but I think once I have it, it should belong to me, so that's, yeah, we'll just solve this argument, and now we can continue since he agreed that it belongs to me.
Please never try to help a woman that much. Ever.
Exactly. So now we have a weapon. That's pretty good, I heard. Sadly, we first got a tutorial, since, like, weapons like the pistol are a bit different from the bow, since you, like, have to reload and stuff, but here the game tries to show that Lara, like, really struggles with the weapons, which is why the aim sometimes, like, is really not where your reticle is, but if you fire quickly enough, you can get rid of these guys. And yeah, so about those magic wands, this is another example of that. So if we weapon toggle here, we can go up this collision. We still get dragged back. I'm holding backwards for the entirety of that animation, so you could see me take some step forwards. That's because I was getting dragged back. But that allows us to skip going into that house, which is the intended route. And there we would get trapped and the house would get set on fire and we would have to get out, so that skips like 10 seconds.
That weapon toggle is not that easy. Like when Caddy showed it to me earlier, like there was a couple of times where I actually failed it. When,
Excuse
you know, like,
what?
no, I mean like it's not on you. It's just that it's not that easy. Like
What is this,
you can
like,
get you can die like
Landering.
easily and stuff like that. Like it's really not easy. Like you really need to weapon toggle like at the correct time.
Yeah.
I had to
No,
cancel
I'm
them.
kidding.
I had no choice.
Well, and Caddy was bad apparently.
Yes.
Like no, okay,
You just
are
established
happy?
that at the end of the previous run that I'm bad, so please continue the narrative. But yeah, in that dialogue, like the game tries to show you that Lara's still like very insecure about like killing people and she hesitates, and this basically the entire game is a story of Lara like getting behind that and really toughen up and stuff like that and blah blah. Not like you really get to see it because we skip all of this.
So like she was an innocent kid but become a murderer, basically. Like what's the story?
Well. Anyway, so here there is a shaft that we have to climb up, and for some reason there is a moderately high chance of the game crashing, like even in casual play or in glitchless. The game can crash on this climb.
Moderately?
Just be prepared in case it crashes. Nothing's wrong except for the game, but that's normal.
But moderately? Seriously?
Yes, like, okay, it didn't crash, but I would say it's around 20%, 25%.
Like on your
Luckily-
stream it's like 70.
True. Well, overall 70, because as I learned recently, I don't just crash here, I can crash anywhere. With some very interesting error messages.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Outdated content.
Now we like, this is really the place where the game opens up a bit. You're not really restricted anymore. And we find Roth again. Here's another checkpoint reset just to cut down on yeah, waiting time. It's not a reset if you crash in that instance, because like the rules allow you to pause the timer and just go up to... luckily there's a checkpoint right at the start of that shaft, so it doesn't really lose you that much real time either. But you would not have to reset because of that, no.
Which is I think is a good decision like by
Yes.
the matter.
One of
Like,
the few good decisions, I mean.
Yes, exactly. That's what I wanted to point that out to, you know.
So we're now making our way up to the wolf's cave up there. You can see there is a wolf right there howling, and there's a cave behind him, and he will teleport soon, so we will run away. You can see him for a frame now, and now he's back. Anyways, so we should go inside the wolf's cave to retrieve a radio, but we will like not do that because we don't have to. We can also do this. Awesome focusing.
Yes.
In case you're wondering why I'm not talking.
So like when you do an artwork like that, like everything is really important, like camera angle, etc. Like this skip is off. Okay, I would say that a lot, I think. So what you see is also not always the reality, and the camera flicks a lot and all. So it's not because you see a wall that there will be actually a wall. So you cannot really work like that.
Yeah.
Also,
So
to do that, you need more than 60 FPS. You need
Yes.
you play at 150.
I think
or
I'm at
150.
155 or something. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
between
so
150
that was
and
called a
160.
skywalk. Basically, in this game, there are certain slopes or walls where if you slide off them, if you tap backwards, Lara stops falling down and she goes into this like animation where she flings her arms. And for some reason, if you start, like if you adjust your camera and start strafing, you can fall upwards, and it all makes sense. Don't worry about it. And also, this is a stealth segment, as you can see.
That will be actually like used multiple times during the run because, as you could see, it's totally OP.
Yeah, it allows us to, like, it's definitely the glitch that allows us to skip most parts of this game.
Japanese.
So now we're inside the bunker, oh sorry, the mountain base. At the start there's not much we can do to skip things, but as soon as we get to some doors that we have to skip, our weapons might help us. Also,
Yeah, go ahead.
luckily this guy was rolling an explosive barrel is what I wanted to say. But yeah, there's a door coming up here, so this guy, we don't need his help. Anyway, so yeah, we can ignore this door, and this door is has some very interesting non-collision above it, so we can just jump through the wall there. And as a general baseline, if you want to ambush someone, make sure to place a high caliber rifle just in front of the ambush that is loaded. I think that's a really good idea. So if you ever find yourself in that situation, make sure to place one of those. Really helpful. Because as you can see, it will go very well for them. Also, you should have the superpower to slow down time.
Yeah, but no, that's low. So, yeah. Reminder, when Caddy is actually like aiming, since he's in normal mode, he actually has to be really precise.
And there's
Like, it's
another
not
door here. I had to clip through. And now the game wants you to exit this room through this hole up there. First I will reload checkpoint to get rid of the enemies. But that would trigger a 40-second slow walking segment that I want to avoid. Nice explosion. And instead I'll try to clip through it. This is one of the more finicky skips in the run. But it's looking good so far. Okay, good, yeah.
nice.
Don't question it. So here we will level up two skills. One just increases our HP, and the other one allows us to throw sand, which right now is not that useful, but it will become useful later on. Not for what you would expect it to be, though.
Yes.
And here we have to go out of bounds, so we can jump on top of this bridge. If we would take the lower route, there would be another guy trying to help us, and that would trigger a very long sequence, so we don't want to do that. Instead, we just want to do some casual mountain climbing.
Yeah, totally casual, by the way. Like I did that all my time in my off day.
Like in Switzerland, we have a lot of mountains, so we're familiar with this. This is nothing special to us.
Yes, true.
Also, you might be thinking, wow, that's a large tower right there. Would be a shame if I would have to climb all of that manually. Good news, we have to climb this manually. I actually have to hold down forward to climb this. If you just let go, nothing happens, so we cannot skip this. We just have to sit here for a minute and watch Lara climb this for a minute.
But it's okay, you know, like think you are doing it for a minute, but just watching her, she actually has to do the effort climbing
True.
up.
And also pay attention to how her feet, for example, sometimes are not really on top of the bars, or sometimes her knees clip through stuff. It's all just as intended.
That's how it is when I climb a ladder.
Well, I don't climb ladders. That's good. But yeah, you can see there her legs are clipping through, and also her hands are in a very interesting position. Basically what we're doing here is we try to climb on top of this tower to call for mayday or help, because yeah, we're kind of stranded here, so we use the international radio help service to call for a rescue crew. I'm sure that will go well, and then we can just go home.
Yes. If there is one thing that Resident Evil series told us is that calling for help always fix the situation.
Yes. Now, interestingly, we had to watch all of this. Also, this next jump is definitely something I can recommend if you're in a situation like this. This is what everyone would do, obviously. But yeah, we had to watch all of this, but as soon as we're at the top, we can skip the cutscene that happens there. Good.
Like, that is
Also,
so stupid.
yeah, so here I have to tune the radio, but as soon as I'm done with that, take a look at her, let's say, behind, because it also follows the laws of physics very well. No clipping at all. Enjoy.
Mayday.
Makes
Mayday.
sense.
This is Lara Croft of the Endurance.
And luckily it is a lot faster to go down again. And yeah, we see some fuel tanks here, and of course the first thing you want to do when you see fuel tanks is set them on fire. I think that's a very natural reaction. Because that's clearly the only way we can get through that gate there in the background, is cause a huge explosion. It's very sensible.
According to my cousin, that's how it works. Like when people
God.
doesn't want you to go into their dance floor, that's how you do.
Yes, so now we found the lighter. And now we need to do some stretching, so that's why I'm aiming here. So you can see here Lara's doing some very nice stretching of her arm. Needs to warm up for this very intense part, because yeah, somehow they really enjoyed seeing Lara suffer and do these very realistic and totally survivable sequences. And yes, you can steer her, and you have to steer her. This game is rather infamous for its rather cruel death scenes, in case you yeah, don't go the correct route. This one is not as infamous as the one later on in the waterfall, but yeah, you kind of want to avoid dying in general. I think that's a good idea.
I mean, like, the death scene in this game are nicer than in Crash Bandicoot, so it's okay.
Two very similar games.
Yes.
I mean, to be fair, this next part is pretty much a Crash Bandicoot scene.
The pilot.
That's true.
So yeah, that was our rescue guy, so we need to follow him. And generally, as a rule of thumb, if Lara is anywhere, everything around her crumbles. So I think this part demonstrates that rather well. Especially the random rocks falling down from the mountain that is not connected to this. But after this short sequence, there will be 4 skywalks I have to do in succession, and they're all rather tight. So things might go wrong, or they might not. We'll see.
So every skywalk is a little bit different. Like, it's not, you know, like you just learn to do one and that's it. Like, you can make all of them succeed. No, there is actually some tweak and all of all of them. Like, it's a rather long speedrun to learn due to all of these little details. You know, like, you have the basic, okay, but then, oh yeah, but in this one I have to be careful of this collision and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I remember you saying that it took you like the longest to learn, like, or it's one of the longest games that you had to learn.
Yeah,
on the Tomb Raider
definitely.
series,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, yeah. Also, don't worry about this. All makes sense. We definitely did not skip a trigger that would replace that texture with what should actually be there. And we also didn't skip a trigger that would cause a long sequence where we would get trapped and would have to get out again. It's also fine. Also, when we cross this river, the game gives us rope arrows. This is definitely the intended way how you would get them. And luckily we need rope arrows for this door, so that's good.
So in this game there is a couple of fail-safe, as we call them. So it's just the game giving you an item that is necessary to progress if you skip it. Like, even
Which
if
is
you
very
skip it,
nice.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, that's something that is common in a lot of games.
I'm really glad.
And that's also a way that the dev/game designer says, okay, I give up if he comes here without it. We need to let him progress.
Here's the next skywalk.
Hopefully it will go well.
This looks sketchy. Can I get some more height, please? Yes.
So yeah, again, like, one of the funniest things is that skywalk are FPS dependent, so you want your FPS to be as high as possible. But for clips, you want your FPS to be as low as possible. So that's why it's being at 155.
Mhm.
It's, you know, like, to have a good compromise. But later in the game, you will have to enable VSync, and you will understand why. And we'll talk a little bit about that. So stay tuned. Yes. But the second time, I had to like to anticipate stuff.
Right, so now we just have one more skywalk to do. Here we would have to use the rope arrows to create a path so we can like climb over, and yeah, instead we just missed this skywalk. It's fine, there's literally a checkpoint right here. I just want to show how you don't get a skywalk, so I can now get the skywalk exactly.
Yes. Sounds like a good plan.
Also sounds like a good plan to just slide along the mountain like this to avoid using the bow. I think that's pretty good. So remember how I said earlier that I would learn the thing with throwing the sand? So here you can see it for the first time. As it turns out, if you do that just as a walkie-talkie segment is starting, Lara goes into the sliding animation, which is actually faster than a slow walk. Also bunnies. So here it saves a few seconds, but that's not the main thing. But you might want to remember that, just this sliding animation. You can't really see it in full right now because the camera is zoomed in. But we call it ice skating for obvious reasons. And yeah, right now we just go to the end of the level. And this is pretty much like the halfway point in the game. So this is like, yeah, where things are intended to pick up, because this is our guy that should rescue us, and he's not doing all that well. And we skip the cutscene where he would do even worse. So this might look familiar because... But don't worry, we're not hanging upside down this time. We're actually hanging correctly. The other guys are not, but I don't think they really mind anymore. But yeah, now we need to break free again. We're now in the Chasm Monastery. Also, if you're tied up like this, just pull really hard.
Yes, totally well.
Yes, and you break the rope.
And it's not like your shoulder should be dislocated at one point.
Yes, or your skull fractured.
What's happening here?
Or your how is it called, like your back
Broken? Cracked?
yeah, like but you know, like the vertebra, like the
Vertebrae?
the spine.
Ah, okay. Yeah, okay.
Like I was looking for the name in English, but I only had the name in French, you know, like coming up. Yeah, like it, or your spine, like the spine can also be broken. But all good.
So yeah, here we're getting our fourth weapon and last weapon. This will be the shotgun. It's a very useful weapon for combat if you're up close, obviously. But we actually need it to complete the run because there are certain obstacles that we need to destroy, and we can only destroy them with the shotgun. And obviously, since this is where we get it from this guy right here, there is one right here, sort of as a tutorial. But I mean, obviously, we should technically, or in the intended way, would continue that way, but we will not do that. We'll turn around and find a different way.
This game is really classic when in terms of progression and all. Like it does respect a lot. Is like the same scheme. Like, you know, intro, get a weapon to progress, introduction to the weapon, mastery of the weapon, new weapon, etc., etc. So which is kind of the most linear thing you can do, even if a world as vast as the one the game has.
Yeah. And some more mountain climbing here. Also, don't mind the enemy T-posing in the background. This is definitely the intended way.
Yes. Honestly, he's nice, he's cool, he's chilling, you know.
Yeah.
Just
also,
like you watching
exactly,
this.
and just enjoying the view.
Yeah.
Enjoying clipping through walls here. Because we actually have to go inbounds here, since the level end trigger is actually tied to solving this puzzle, so this we still have to solve. And as I found out a few streams ago, you can softlock if the RNG of the wind is off, so that's good. Hooray, I'm definitely not terrified of that happening.
No.
But basically you can you have to open the windows, pull the pendulum, and then it destroys the pillars. We have to do that on both sides. Then it triggers a fight, and after the fight we have to use the pendulum to ring the bell. Well, more like destroy the bell. More on that later. So if I softlock, then I hit the bell early, which would actually be good, but then the next level is not loaded. But so far it looks okay. But yeah, basically, whenever an enemy is in midair and you hit them with a shotgun, they're one-shot, which is nice. I mean, these guys are usually also one-shot, so it doesn't really matter for them, but you might want to remember that for the late game. It's really cool.
About the bell, can you also soft lock on console?
On? Sorry?
On console?
I
Like when you're playing
don't
on
know.
PlayStation.
But yeah, so now here we now have to open both hatches and hope that the pendulum hits the bell. If not, I have to pull it again. Also audio warning. Okay, I have to pull it again. Good. I forgot the audio warning. So this time I will actually warn you. The audio balance in the next segment is horribly screwed up and we cannot fix it. So if you don't mind loud noises, then you don't have to do anything. Otherwise, 3, 2, 1, go. Thank you.
This is all 26 euro. I just want to say that there is too many appearance of Lara just falling, hitting the ground really hard, getting stabbed and all, and she's like, okay, I will just jump through the next section. Like, she's so resilient, it's crazy.
Alright, you can readjust your sound system then. Magically fixes itself. Yeah, that was Chasm Monastery, and you saw the obstacles there. If we would not have the shotgun, we could not proceed, because we'd just crash into them and die horribly. Yeah, so now we're just making our way down the mountain again, looking for the others, and yeah, we'll definitely find a very enjoyable and scenic route down the mountain. Nothing to be worried about. Like, you have a campfire there, that's cozy, and nice rivers here. All lovely. I think there are also some people here that want to help us, but I don't need the help, so I'll just tell them to please don't interrupt me. It's good, and we can...
Lara is strong, she doesn't need any help.
We can reload the checkpoint here. It's actually, for some reason, saves 1 shotgun ammo. Also here you want to use the rope arrow as low as possible, because then you don't get a hard fall. But yeah, usually there is a barrier here that you would have to shoot open with the shotgun, but if you reload checkpoint, it's not there. Seems like useless, because we get maximum of 20 shotgun ammo, but it actually kind of can save some time, because you don't need to pick up any ammo in the final level. So just something to keep in mind. But yeah, here you're supposed to sneak past these guys, but I won't. Which is a bit of a problem, because obviously now everyone is alerted, including these guys. Hello. Hello. And now we have to cross this river. So you just wait through it while the other guys are shooting at us. But for some reason they're really nice guys, so they stop shooting at us and just leave us alone. That's cool. And clearly this goes just as intended. This looks very safe and stable. There's no way we would not cross this. Oh, well. And yeah, this is probably the most infamous part where you could die, because Lara... Yeah, well, I'll first try to avoid it and then talk about it, because I don't want to jinx it. But yeah, the camera is actually... Like, the screen shakes are not by me, the camera does just shake to give it a more, like, you know, rough feeling, but it doesn't help, let's say it like this.
I just want to throw up, honestly.
And if that's not enough, we now have some nice PUBG action. So nice parachuting here. Where are we dropping? Haha. Funny memes. So yeah, these trees can one-shot you, but not all of them. And the hitbox makes no sense, which is why I'm taking a pretty wide swing there around that tree, because that one is infamous for just killing you in one shot. And again, screen shakes are not by me, it's just the game trying to mess with you. But yeah,
where did you get that parachute?
You collected in the... So if you saw at the end of the river, we crashed into a wreck of an airplane. I skipped the cutscene, but basically she picks up the parachute there. Sometimes it makes sense.
Okay. So convenient.
Yes. So now we're in Shantytown, and this is a pretty difficult level because there are like 4 big skips, and they're all on the finicky side. And you might not be all too surprised to know that 2 of them include skywalks, so that's good. But it's a pretty wide variety we have here. We also have an up clip here, and then later a clip through a gate, so you basically get to see the best of the glitches. So here, first I clip up. Again, I need to fuse the camera back. So here I have a very nice step that I can take. So since I'm like doing a mini jump there, the camera snaps back to Lara. So we skipped quite a long part where we would have to go to the helicopter and would get fire arrows. So now we don't have fire arrows, but luckily after this cutscene there is not a failsafe. If you reload checkpoint you just get fire arrows. We don't really need fire arrows for this run, they're just a tiny time save at the end. Since they allow you to obviously set things on fire that you would normally have to use the torch for. But yeah, so now I have fire arrows and I'll try to try to skip through this gate. And as the other guys just mentioned, I'm trapped and there's no way to go, so that's a bit unfortunate.
Oh no!
Especially if I can't clip. I'll just reload checkpoint. This is, as I said, one of the more finicky ones. So now you can hear again that I'm trapped.
End of the run, you're trapped.
Come on, Lara, please.
Well, that was a nice run, you know, like
Yeah,
we had fun.
better reset. Oh my god, Lara, please clip. Thank you. First try, good.
Yes.
So yeah, we're trapped and there's no way to go. Then we will get a checkpoint here, and this is the last one we get before we complete the other skips. So if at any point from here on out I die or I have to reload checkpoint, I go all the way back here, which is why this is the other big time save apart from intro. So first we have to clip up here to go out of bounds. Almost. You have to do a very quick 180-degree turnaround there to not fall down like that again. Lara. Yeah, it's acting up. Don't worry about it. There we go. I'm still getting pushed back, so I need to hold forward there. Now we are on top and can go out of bounds here. And luckily, oops, how do I save this? Okay. Oh, get up there. Get up there, Lara. Okay, that's not good. Can I save this? Yes, 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 yes. Almost? Yes, okay, good.
Nice.
Yeah, so luckily in this out of bounds part there is a slope where we can get skywalk off, which is this one, and now I need to climb the mountain. Which is exactly how you would climb a mountain.
Also something I don't think we mentioned, Skyward doesn't work. That doesn't work anywhere. Like there is only like specific slope in the game where it does work. Yeah.
And now I do some more mountain climbing. I'm getting pushed back again, so I have to hold back until I break free. And this is also not so nice part. Lara starts to hopefully walk up here at some point. I said she will walk up here at some point. Thank you. But there's a pretty big death plane here that I'm trying to avoid. Oh, this is bad. Okay, good. Saved it. So yeah. Now I need to load the next part of the level. So this is where you would usually come out of 2 levels earlier. So we skipped like 2 levels with this. And with the checkpoint reset there, the rest of the level loads incorrectly. So this zip line was not here before, so we could not have skipped it. Or not come over here. And this is where we see the true potential of the ice skating glitch. So again, I threw the sand and now I'm in this sliding animation. And as it turns out, that gives us the capability to airwalk. However, this only lasts as long as the walkie-talkie conversation lasts. And right here, this one doesn't really save any time. It's just for fun, because you don't have anything else to do.
Yeah,
exactly. Because we have to wait for the next gondola anyways. So, but at the start of the next level, I will immediately go into that sliding animation again, because there we can actually use the airwalk to skip something. And I will also switch my FPS, or I will enable VSync to switch my FPS to 60, because fall damage in this game is tied to the frame rate, and the lower the frame rate, the less damage you take, and with 60 we can just barely survive the next fall.
If you're a developer, this is so stupid to do. Okay.
So luckily, the very next level starts out with a walkie-talkie. I wonder if we can abuse that somehow after what we just saw. So yeah, here's a checkpoint. I will enable VSync and reload checkpoint.
For people who aren't familiar with VSync, as Kati said, like it will fix his FPS to 60. So it's just a nice way for game dev to ensure that the game is working as intended as a specific frame rate.
Alex said that you're on your way down. I should be there.
So you can see we're like leaving the gondola. So we're now, as I said, this only lasts as long as the walkie-talkie conversation, and we have to land on that pylon over there. So there are actually a few languages you cannot use at all in this run because the conversations are too short to make this this skip work.
Just trust me.
Is French one of them?
All right.
Wait a second. This is sketchy. Okay, good. Just a moment.
Yeah, focus. Like,
Okay.
I asked a question, but I do know the answer, but yeah.
Yes, you can use French, but it's slower.
Yes. No. It's good.
You can use French and it's perfect. Okay.
Yes.
So
Thank you.
now we have a big RNG part because you're supposed to fight all of these guys, which is a very long part, and I don't want to do that. This is not great. But what I will try to do instead is what you saw right there, but I didn't do it. So what we'll try to do is skip all of the fight and kind of jump around the level boundary. If you jump on top of that railing, you can kind of curve your jump at the very end. You go around this pole, and there is collision down here. And luckily, the level end trigger is also down here, because this level would end if Lara grabs this bar, which is why it looks kind of weird how she grabs it here. The level is supposed to tilt, but we just skipped straight down to that part of the collision. Now we just make our way down. Also very dramatic music in the background. This is actually supposed to play during the cutscene, not during this part, but since we skipped the cutscene, it just plays into this part.
Something.
And now we're at the beach. Or we're supposed to go to the beach, but we will take a quick detour. We'll go back to the beach later, don't worry about it. We'll get to see a nice view of the sea. But we'll make a quick detour because we'll do another skywalk that allows us to kind of skip ahead and trigger a checkpoint that allows us to fast travel
Something tells me
later
that
on
this time
after we go to the beach, which is very convenient. And this skywalk is definitely one of the more trickier ones because it is a long one, and obviously the further away you go from the intended area of play, the less the textures and collision actually like make sense. And there are a lot of holes you cannot really see in these textures or the collision, so you kind of have to be careful with this one, which I hope I can be. But this is just the starting part. Here I intentionally lose some speed to have more control for the rest of this. Like you can also see Lara is invisible, so I don't really know where she is. Okay, and then I land on top here. I need to trigger, or I need to load the next part of the level. Right now it isn't, but when I jump off this ledge and jump back on, now the next part where I have to go load it, which is very good.
Nice.
And now we just go down here. Oop, that's interesting. Never have grabbed the ledge that early on. Okay, good.
First time.
So now down here there's a campfire that we can trigger. There's just 2 enemies next to it, so we need to get rid of those first.
Look at all those bodies.
Without aim control. Well, aim
just
help.
when I thought things couldn't get any
And now
worse.
we
Aim assist.
can fast travel to the beach. Like when we arrived at the beach, it kind of like, that's a very wide area, so it gave us this campfire, which is like, we never really went here, but luckily we just still get it. And we can fast travel back later on. Here we can do a short skip by doing another scramble jump that I failed. You're supposed to like first trigger a cutscene and then come from the other side, but if you do the scramble jump correctly, thank you, Laura, you can get on top of the bridge here and jump across. And then we come up to the last skywalk of the run, so you can see the ship there in the background. You're supposed to, like on the outside, climb around it to the back part and climb up, and it's very slow. But we can actually already skywalk up to the top here. What we need to do is we need to shoot off the anchor, and you're not supposed to do that from here. So we can shoot it off, and we're not on that side, so we're not at the item. But by triggering this cutscene, the game automatically assumes we were there, so we're just getting teleported over. Because there's no way you should normally be able to shoot the anchor from the other side.
This
That's
is
cool.
so stupid. Oh no, that's stupid. I'm sorry, that's stupid. That's not
Wow.
cool.
How dare you? So this route, we kind of have to manipulate the enemies there so they shoot into the mast and not at us, because if you're on a zipline and you get hit, you automatically will let go, and that would kill us. And this checkpoint reload is just to make it to the beach faster, otherwise you would have to go through the water and you can't run and it's slow. Here we get an upgrade for a bow. It's a recurve bow, and that allows us to shoot rope arrows into rock surfaces to make new zip lines, which is very handy. And here we go back to the bunker that we triggered earlier. Allows us to skip a lot of backtracking, basically.
All of that to get the Super Saiyan bow.
Then here there's an elevator that you would have to first activate stuff. But because this game makes a lot of sense, you can jump against this part of the wall and then... hello, Lara? Lara? Okay, let's try that again. I said you can jump through this part. Yeah, there we go. Jump through this part of the wall and then, yeah, things make sense. Ah, yes, this aim also makes sense. So generally you're rather squishy in this game, like, especially against the assault rifle guys. Only, like, you can only take so many hits. But, yeah, usually it's fine, except for one big fight at the end. Also here we do a very casual upclip, don't worry about it. Definitely not skipping a very annoying part. And we just roll through rocks, because they're not supposed to be there. So yeah, now we're making our way kind of to the end game area-ish. Because now at the beach we just were at, our friends get attacked. And we decide that now that we have everything assembled, we will carry the fight to the enemies and allegedly free Sam. Not that we ever got to see that she got captured in the first place, but apparently she's in dire need of some help. But whatever, I don't know. Tomb Raider things.
Oh no, what's happening?
So the recurve bow we needed because in the final area there are basically 4 large gaps that you're only supposed to be able to cross with this recurve bow and the zip lines. There recently, Epic Dude Guy or Robbie, he found actually a way to skip all of those gaps without the recurve bow, but 2 of those are not yet quite RTA viable, so we could technically skip going to the ship that I did earlier and collect the anchor upgrade for the bow, but not quite yet. Maybe next time.
Yeah, hopefully. Would be really, really good.
We have the mad scientist Robbie on the case. Sure, he will come up with something.
He found so many things in so many games.
Yeah.
I'm sure he will be able to do it.
It's always scary when you know he picks up a new game because you know it will get destroyed soon.
Yes, exactly.
I remember doing Captain Toad ILs at SpeedCon. Really like invested, and then Robbie asked me if he can get it, if he can try, and I was so panicking because I was expecting that he would get it like first try, and I already spent 2 hours on it, but he showed mercy. But yeah, now basically we take the boat and go up the stream, and this is the end game area. Not quite the point of no return, it's a bit later. This is, like, you can skip this cutscene, but the next one you can't skip, for reasons unknown. I don't know, probably because it's, like, really essential to the plot or something. So, yeah. Lara sorry?
No, I was just gonna say that there is sometimes not seen someone try to help us, so, you know, maybe the game is like, okay, instead of someone trying to help you, I will just show you like a nice scenery and all.
I mean, to be fair, now our friends want to help us, but of course, now we legitimately deny their help. This game is all about not accepting help from strangers or friends, I guess, I don't know.
That's fair.
But yeah, now Lara just goes in solo and tries to free Sam. And yeah, this is where we will encounter the Queen Stormguard, which is basically our heavily armored enemies. So now we cannot one-shot them even with the shotgun. They take at least 2 hits to either the head or the torso. So you will not see me go for headshots from now on, basically, because obviously the head is a smaller area to hit. I will go for torso shots because they take 2 shots anyways. But I will fail at it, so don't worry about it. So this is where the recurve bow comes into play. You can place these zip lines now. And that's the first of 4 gaps we need it for. Or technically would not need it for, but for now, because I'm bad as Eraser established, I need it.
I mean, you are bad, yes, that's true, but you are also the best in the world in this game.
Thanks, that makes me feel so much better.
You're welcome. It came from my heart.
That is the second gap. So in the next room there is an enemy, and there will be 3 enemies walking into the room. But if you draw the attention of the first enemy quickly enough, the doors will actually shut, and the other enemies cannot run inside the room. Which is why I shoot this pistol shot. Okay, so I still got 1 guy. That's not as bad as 3 guys, if you can count. Which I can't, so it's fine.
Yeah, I was confused.
Yeah.
Like 3 is better than 1, always.
Exactly. So actually I should reload. So here's the stealth part, final stealth part. You can roll here, technically sometimes, and they will not catch you, but I will not risk it. Because I'm a wuss, but it's fine. So basically it's like the calm before the storm. Also, yes, Lara gets not detected because she's very sneaky here. There's no way you could spot her from any direction.
Yes, clearly.
Also, there will be some very great subtitles here again. I think they say like something like speaking Japanese and inhuman roars. I'm not sure if those are connected, but I mean, the game is telling me, just
Nani?
interpreting what it tells me.
Nande.
English only, please.
Oh. But I never spoke English.
Igirisu o kudasai. I mean, what? Anyways, so yeah, now they apparently found us, so we have to run away. And they don't really have any regard for their own fortress here, so they just blow everything up.
Hey, it's their property, they do whatever they
They can
want.
do what they want, yes.
Who are you to judge them?
Okay, so as I said, I will go for torso shots. I did not mean to roll there. Okay, shot didn't come out. So now the next fight is the aforementioned big fight, and we actually call it the big fight because it is a big fight, and it is pretty much the only big fight in this game, so that's why we call it the big fight. Makes sense when you think about it, I think. This is like actually the first time we get to really see Sam in this run, and it's like as a tiny pixel there in the distance getting kidnapped. It's pretty good. But yeah, the big fight has 3 phases, and you need to kill not only a certain amount of enemies in each phase, but also like specific enemies. So the route is a bit weird, but yeah, essentially the second and third phase can go horribly wrong to the point where you would lose like minutes. So it's really fun that this is towards the end of the run. It's really helpful. But this is the first phase. Here I just wait until the archers go back, because then the 4 melee guys will jump over that I need to kill. And I can wait for them here. Sadly, these guys don't die in one shot yet when they're in midair, so I will wait until they land. But in the third phase that will be the case. So you will see me kind of camp a specific location and wait for them to drop down so I can one-shot them. Okay. Also explosive barrels. Always have them near to you. They're very helpful. That was phase 1. Now the arguably most difficult phase. Sorry, what?
Why is it different between phase 1 and phase 3? Like for the,
yes. We need to kill these 3 archers. Okay, that was good-ish, if I would not get stuck-ish. Okay, and this is the third one. And now I need to lure these guys over here, because there will be some explosive barrels thrown this way. I can use them kind of to my advantage. I can blow up these, and then there should be, 2 following me. Okay, good. I can checkpoint reload here to the third phase. And now, as I said, I will pick up more shotgun ammo here. And now I will go into the corner here and try to snipe them out of midair. So we'll have 3 spawn now 2 will drop down. And I need to kill all of the enemies here. Good, now wait. Yeah, okay, the other archer ran off, but that's not too bad. As long as this one doesn't run off, because this guy's right next to an explosive barrel, so that's actually really good. I just need to kill these 3 guys and then I'm done with this. That was actually a really good big fight. Wouldn't mind having one of those in my attempts, but usually I don't. Of course.
The game can smell your fear, like when you are in this war and want to PV.
So, now the next part of the level cannot load, which is always fun. Luckily we got a checkpoint here, so you don't have to redo the big fight, but still, you would have to watch all of this again. We'll see.
This is a good game.
Yeah, definitely. And it loaded, so it's fine. Here we will do a final clip. We can squeeze through this wall into the out of bounds area with our pistol. If we scramble back here. Now we want to jump on top of this collision, but still out of bounds. And we want to curve our jump here to squeeze underneath this platform. Good. But now I'm getting constantly pulled back when I go up the slope, so you kind of have to constantly roll and hope you break free from this pull. Okay, good, yeah. And then I can drop back behind the gate. I just need to touch it so the next part of the level loads. This endgame I would die for in a PB attempt. I'm so mad. Classic. So yeah, now we're just making our way to the last level. Which is basically just a giant climb up the mountain, and at the end there is the final boss. This is the point of no return, as you can see. So we just break open this gate, and once we cross this bridge, cutscene will play, and then it's like off to the races. We need to go all the way up there. And we need the rope arrows, or well, the recurve bow 2 more times, so here will be gaps number 3 and 4 that we need it for. So here's the first one. Also, the climbing mechanics in this game are great. They definitely never screw you over. And it's great that the very last thing you do in this run is climbing. So there's no way you could lose a run to this.
No.
Also, you're supposed, if you would play this normally, you have a tool called the rope ascender, which allows you to like basically zoom up these kind of zip lines. So this would be a lot faster normally. But since we skipped that when we did the large skywalk in Shantytown, we don't have that, so we have to slowly climb the zip lines.
And but skywalks have so much time that it's totally perfect.
Like it skips multiple levels, so I will definitely take that.
Exactly. We are talking about, not even 30 seconds, but
Yeah.
multiple.
Yeah, dozens of minutes. So since we're supposed to have the rope ascender, we actually have to play this differently. We have to like aim at the right of that bell there, and we cannot just fully climb this rope. We have to stop and slowly make our way, like nudge forward, because you're supposed to have the rope ascender, so you are supposed to have more speed here. You would normally overshoot this beam if you would just climb normally like this without taking a break.
Watch out! Those bastards are heading your way. We did everything we could to slow them down.
Thanks, Reyes. Get to the boat.
So now it's just a bit more climbing, and then we're at the final boss.
We'll be waiting.
Just as a point of reference, so this game normally is timed with only in-game time. So Cadis PB is 55 minutes, but RTA, so in real time, his time is 1 hour or 2. Like you can see how good this run is so far.
I don't know how good the run is because I don't see the time, and don't tell me.
Okay, so right now you are at 2 hours.
Yeah. Wow.
Nice.
So this is the final gap we need. This is the largest one. This was the last one where Robbie found a skip for, and this crazy skip where you clip through off this mountain will be fun when we actually get to use it. But yeah, this is another, like here you can really see you would have the rope ascender because there is no point in climbing this for 20 seconds or whatever. Yeah, so that was the last time we used the rope arrows. Now we just need this final climb up to the top, and then it's the final boss.
It's actually funny that they didn't put a failsafe for this time.
Yeah. Would be nice. Yeah, this is also definitely how you should safely climb a mountainside.
I mean, everything she did so far is safe. So, you know.
Yeah, sometimes... Why are you stopping? Just go to the left, yes. Oh my god. So much for the climbing. Yeah, so now it's the final boss. This is like a... You're supposed to go around here and fight many enemies, because it's like a circular arena. But we can also just not do that. And jump across here to the final boss. We just need to go back here to actually load this final boss. And the final boss, of course, as it should be with all good games, is a QTE. So you can get ready on time. Time is once I like shoot him with double pistols for the final time, he will fall down. I will just tell you. So yeah, QTEs, very good thing.
Yes, quick time event are the bane of games. Please use them wisely.
So yeah, Lara Croft's, well, like best known weapon, the dual pistol, we get to use for 5 seconds, and then we do not get to use it for the other games. Good reboot. Yeah, get ready on time. And time.
GG.
Thank you.
So yeah, like other than the first skip, but that was kind of expected since, as you said, like it's the biggest reset point. The run was really clean.
Yeah, this was good.
Yeah, the only thing that took you time otherwise was your trapped clip.
Yeah. I mean, and
out.
some small things here and there, but this was definitely.
Yes.
I'm definitely satisfied with this.
Yeah, that was really good one. Like it was a 1 hour or 4.
Oh, 4? Oh, that's good.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah, that's why honestly, like that was
I'll
really
take
good.
that.
Like with all the time you lost at the start, actually, I was like, oh, that's really impressive time, honestly.
Yeah.
Like GG.
Thank you. But yeah, this was Tomb Raider 2013. If you, for some reason, want to learn this run, or any other of the Tomb Raider runs, or the Lara Croft games,
Yes.
which you may have seen at some point during this marathon, we have a speedrunning community for all the Tomb Raider / Lara Croft games called Tomb Runner. You can find our Discord on speedrun.com in the usual places. So always stop by. Just don't expect your runs to get verified. I mean, what? No.
It will get verified. Just wait for 1 or 2 months.
Throwing shade here. No, I'm joking. Yeah, so if you want to do that, do that. Otherwise, just hit me up. Thank you for HSM for having me again and for having me close out this marathon. Thank you, Sone, for setting everything up. Thank you, Yume, Los, everyone, for running all of this so amazingly well. It was fun, but I don't want to take up more of your time. I'm sure Sone wants to also say a word or two. Thank you, Eraser, for not only commentating this run, but also for allowing me to commentate his run, for agreeing to do that really cool co-op run, and for just being a great friend.
Thank you, Kadi. Like, thanks as well, like for all this marathon, all this prep. Thank you for adding a world record to my amazing collection of world records. But yeah, like, thank you for letting me commentate this, even though like I don't know anything except watching your stream. Like with the delay and all, like I just did my best. So, but yeah, like definitely check Kadi's out. Like if you like Tomb Raider games, is the one to go. Clearly,
Please.
like he's running like a lot of Tomb Raider, but also like he's running them well and he's doing stuff well. So.
Some more, some less.
you can disagree, but that's the truth. So yeah,
I can, but I will not right now, just for the sake of brevity.
Nice. And yeah, thanks everyone for having me as well, like in HSM. Thanks Kadi. Thanks everyone for watching. I will just say ditto to what Kadi said, so I will stop talking there. And, yeah.
I just wish I could tell him.
Thanks again.
Well, that was a pretty amazing run. I think we all agreed it was pretty amazing.
You're amazing.
Yeah, unfortunately, this was the last run. Initially, we didn't plan on doing much afterwards, but me and Yume impromptu are going to do just some quick afterthoughts. We're gonna jump into a quick intermission though, to quickly set everything up, and then if you want to, you can listen to me and to Yuma for like, I don't know, 5, 7, 10 minutes or so.
Anything?
Recap the marathon for a bit, and yeah, and then that will be it more or less. So yeah, if you plan on staying, hey, you're pretty cool. If you're not staying on planning,
You're
hey,
not cool.
good night. Thank you very much for watching, and yeah, see you guys in a bit, hopefully.